Hello, my name is Sylvester Henderson. I am the CEO of Professor for Life Incorporated, and I am so honored today to be able to introduce Dr. Denise Morales-Richardson, president of Berkeley City College. Welcome, Dr. Richardson.
Thank you so much, Professor Henderson. Oh, you used my whole name. That's
I sure did. I wanted people to know that you have a name before Richardson.
actually I did. So no, I appreciate that recognition. But as you shared, I am Denise Richardson, the president of Berkeley City College, longtime administrator and professor here in Peralta. I started back in 2001, so I've been in the district for quite some time.
Wow. Well, you know what, Dr. Richardson, could you introduce yourself to our digital world, digital media academic world? Tell us where you grew up and share your academic journey. Where did you attend college? What were some of your majors and all those wonderful things as you went from your bachelor's to your master's to your doctorate?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut, the north end of Hartford, Connecticut, for anybody who lives in that region, and had a wonderful experience from my early educational beginnings. Had just a wonderful elementary school experience steeped in Black culture, and that was
Oh,
so
wow.
meaningful for me. I had some instructors who, back at that time, I guess I'll just go ahead and say it, in the early 70s, who wore dashikis to work and just made sure that Black children and Puerto Rican children, who were the largest population of children in that school, had a sense of pride in where they came from. So that early beginning kind of catapulted me in a way into really feeling a sense of self and assuredness in terms of education and my early journey. But just to start from the beginning again, my mother was a teacher there, and she was attending university, so I would sit in the back of her classrooms. And for me, for me, at 6 years old, sitting in the back of her classrooms, it was not a matter of was I going to college, going to go to college. It was when. So that
Wow.
was a wonderful experience to see my mother bettering herself at that early age and being able to sit in the back of a college classroom. So I went through the Hartford public school system, went to Hartford High. And then when I got to Hartford High, my first year, they had this program called A Better Chance. And they wanted to put children of color into college prep school. So I was there for my first year, but then I was given an opportunity to go to Ethel Walker School, which is a girls' school in Simsbury, Connecticut. So I took advantage of that opportunity, went and lived on the campus, and it was a whole nother
Oh,
world.
wow.
Completely, because I mean, this was a place where senators' daughters went, and in fact, probably one of the more famous classmates I had was Naz Pahlavi, who was the daughter of the Shah of Iran, who, when he was exiled, they came over, to this country, and she happened to be enrolled there. So her and her security guards and helicopters. I mean, it was a defining moment for me to attend Ethel Walker schools, just top-notch academics, but to be maybe two Black girls out of a class of 150 was also an experience. Uh, um, it, it was, I would say that although we were accepted as part of the group, we were also different, and that was apparent as well. Um, but I wouldn't take anything for that experience. After that, I decided I wanted to do something completely different. Graduated, had a great experience, learned to sing there, began singing opera and classical music while I was there at Ethel Walker School. So just a really rich experience in that way. And they were, of course, grooming all of the girls to go to an Ivy League or some elite institution. And I got into some, I even got a full ride to some, but I made the very conscious decision to go to Oakwood College. It was Oakwood College then. It's Oakwood University now, which is an HBCU. Because after that experience, I wanted to go somewhere where I had a real natural sense of belonging. And that worked out wonderfully for me. I became part of a touring concert choir called the Aeolians, and we traveled all over
Yes.
the country. You probably are familiar.
Oh, very much so.
They won choir of the year or choir of the world or something a couple years ago, gospel choir, some really big designation. But at any rate, went to Romania, went to Bermuda, traveled all over. So again, education is, I think, sometimes best when it's done traveling, right? So that that was phenomenal. I mean, being in Romania before the Iron Curtain fell, I mean, that was huge for me in terms of giving me perspective about my place in the world and how I felt about being an American, all kinds of things. Anyway, went from there, got my degree in communications, worked in advertising for about 6 years, and then decided after doing that and enjoying that, that I wanted something that was more personally meaningful. About that time, I also started having children, got married, had children, have now three adult children. But when they were young, I stayed home with them for 10 years. And then,
Wow.
yeah, that was a long time.
You were a stay-home mom.
I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, but it was one of the best investments I've ever made. I have children that I really like and love and who are doing big things in the world. So I'm grateful that I had that opportunity. But you get a little restless sometimes when you're taking care of children. So I used that time to also get my master's in political science, taught political science for 12, 13 years. And after getting into leadership positions, faculty senate vice president, faculty senate president, you know, department chair. Then I had an opportunity to get into administration. So I became a dean in 2013. That's about the time I think I met you,
That's right.
right? Or maybe a year after that. So 2013, I began as a dean of math and sciences at Laney College. Did that for almost 7 years. And had an amazing time doing that because everything I'd learned as faculty and everything I'd learned on those committees really gave me the knowledge and also the priorities to be effective in that role. So transitioned from that to a vice president of instruction at Merritt College, where I worked with my president, Dr. David Johnson, worked there for 3 years. And along that time, I'm kind of skipping some parts, but along that time, I also got a second master's in educational leadership at Mills College before in Northeastern Mills. So the original Mills, and also earned my EDD, my doctorate of education there at Mills. And for the last 2 years, I've been president of Berkeley City College. So that's pretty much my journey in terms of education and career.
Well, you've had an incredible journey, an auspicious journey, and I am partial to you as a professional because you have had the opportunity to sing, and I like that. I think that was one of the areas that sort of united us as professionals when we met at the National Council for Black American Affairs. I
That's
think
great.
Carolyn Grove's Institute in Pennsylvania. I think it was
That's
Pittsburgh.
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Listen, Dr. Richardson, can you describe your work and obligations to the best of your ability as the president of Berkeley City College? What is your typical day like?
Oh,
I know that that's.
I don't know that there is a typical day, but every day my main job is to support the students, to support the faculty, and to support the classified professionals that work here. I really consider myself an individual who makes sure that everyone has the resources that they need so that they can be effective in their roles. And of course, along with that, I have to attend a lot of meetings. I'm responsible for the implementation of our educational master plan, of our strategic plan, which is culled out of that. I'm responsible for the fiscal management of the institution, making sure that at all times we're within budget and that the resources are being spent as they should and that they're going, from my perspective, where they're needed most, which is closest to the classroom and ensuring that our students are directly benefiting from the resources that we have here at the college. And we have a number of programs, over 100 programs of study here. So just making sure that all of those programs are as well resourced as possible so that students have the best experience they can. And I'm really proud of the work that we're doing right now. We are number one per capita in terms of transferring students to UC Berkeley. We're number four in terms of transferring students to UCs. And we have 116 community colleges here in California. So we're pretty proud of that great work.
And one of the great things, if I may add, what you kind of took the words out of my mouth was that Berkeley City College is so closely physically related to UC Berkeley that you have a great opportunity to interface with UC Berkeley and make a great impact for those students as they transfer. As college president, do you get a chance to talk a little more about, if you would please, how you interface with faculty, some of your other administrative support leaders, such as your vice president, your dean, and how do all of you still improve the effective support and guidance for faculty? Because I know that's challenging.
Mhm. I think one of the things that we excel at here at Berkeley City College is the level of collaboration we engage in. As you know, community colleges, we love our committees. So we have lots and lots of committees where we work together and we tackle the challenges. And we also engage in a lot of strategic planning. We're constantly reassessing what we're doing and how we're doing it so that we can be better for our students. One of our main committees for that is Roundtable. Most things that get passed into policy here at Berkeley City College, or most things that are issues that impact the whole college, go through our roundtable, college roundtable, and that's a very representative body that includes students, classified professionals, and administrators, and of course faculty. So one of the ways that we grow ourselves is through professional development opportunities. Sometimes those are outside, sometimes those are inside of the district. But in terms of how we grow as a team, it is typically through the mechanism of our shared governance process, which, as I said, for us is that committee. We also have a budget advisory committee. We have the facilities committee. So all of these committees that focus on certain areas of running the college.
Wow, that sounds very much like some of the goals and principles of the California Master Plan for Higher Education in terms of how all of the colleges are to work together, the community college, the state university system, and the UC system. Can you talk about how your management style helps to fulfill those goals and principles?
Absolutely. As I mentioned, I'm extremely committed to collaboration, to making sure that every voice is heard. And I believe that every voice at my college is important and has something to contribute. So what I do is I lay out the goals of our institution to, just about at every meeting to say, okay, this is our template. This is what we are shooting for. So that's always in the background and influences everything that we do in terms of decision making. So in terms of my leadership style, again, I would just summarize as very collaborative, very inclusive. Um, um, I would like to think I'm also a compassionate leader. That's something I really try to do because if your team doesn't know and feel that you care about them, their well-being, then we spend so much time together every day. What would be the point, right? So
That's right.
those are the things that I value in terms of my leadership that I hope the people that I work with value as well.
I believe they do. You are very, very well respected, and I have the utmost respect for you as a professional. And having heard your earlier journey, where it seems like you have it all, you have the the family, the children, the career, and that's wonderful. I want to commend you on that. So many professionals, especially women in general, have to struggle with trying to take care of the family and still fulfill some of their individual professional aspirations themselves. So I want to commend you because it seems like you've been able to somehow balance it all. I'm sure it was difficult, but you did it, and you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I have a wonderful community of friends and family that keep me grounded and keep me fed. And of course my faith is what sustains me.
Wonderful. Who influenced you to want to become a prominent college professor? Was there a particular person, or just it just kind of developed as a desire of holding so many different positions within the academic academy?
To become a professor or to become an administrator?
College president.
It's interesting when you say that. I did not really aspire to become a college president, if you want to know the truth. I was encouraged by people who valued my leadership, who valued my integrity, who said, look, we need someone like you in leadership. And so I had a conversation with myself and I said, if not you, who? And I acknowledged the gifts that I've been given, and decided that I would throw my hat in the ring because all the experiences that I've had throughout my life, not just even beginning here in Peralta in 2001, I think have prepared me for this moment in time of leadership. So I felt prepared when I applied for this position, and having sat in the seat for 2 years. Even with all the challenges that we're enduring in education, and we don't have to go into all of those, but everybody's familiar with what's happening in education. Even with all of those challenges, I feel like it was something that I had to offer this college and this community that was unique. And so I'm grateful for the successes we've had during my time here. I'm just grateful to be able to support the people who care so much about students and want to see them thrive and succeed and achieve their goals.
That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing those ideas. Can you describe your research work and how some of your findings support learning and leadership for students of color in general?
Absolutely. My dissertation was about men of color in STEM and the success strategies they used to be their success strategies in general. Oftentimes, a lot of the focus has been on students who aren't successful. And this was a very clear focus on Black males. But I wanted to find out, what about those people who are successful? What are they doing that's different? Because as you know, in STEM, we have a tremendous underrepresentation of Black young people, and particularly Black males. And so what I found was that having a very strong family background where there was tremendous support, not only support for them as individuals, but support for them as students. And that means helping them with their homework, ensuring that they got to class on time, following up with their instructors. That kind of familial support was invaluable for a number of these students. Also, tutoring. A lot of people have a stigma attached to tutoring, but all of the successful students that I interviewed early on had phenomenal tutoring, and it made the difference for them.
Right.
Another thing that was huge was the cohort model. I'm a big fan of cohorts, programs that are specific to groups, and having success coaches in those groups. So a lot of them had gone through like Aid to Men, programs that are focused on success for Black males.
That's wonderful. Everything you have stated is factual, especially when it comes to men of color, because men of color sometimes are complicated. And so having to having the kindness of a professional such as yourself to research those type of ideas is great. Dr. Richardson, can you tell us, our audience, as a noted college president and administrator, what are your most significant writing accomplishments?
One of the things that I'm most proud of is something that I recently wrote, co-authored, and it was an article that discussed AB 1705, which is the legislation that tries to get students through or matriculating through community college much more efficiently by beginning students in college level math, college level English. And of course, that did away with all of the foundation courses that used to be so prevalent in community colleges. And the reason for that, and the state came up with the idea that this would be a better track for students because so many years are considered wasted when students blow through their financial aid. They spend a lot of years in foundation courses, but they don't get a degree. So this legislation was implemented to address that issue. So I wrote an article about that basically talked about how there, even though it's well intended and has had some good outcomes, sometimes there are unintended consequences because a lot of our students come to us underprepared. And so one of the concerns that I've had is that it might discourage some students from coming to community college and might change the attraction of community college. However, I'm very pleased that the success rates have actually gone up. Success rates have gone up for Black students. Success rates have gone up for Latinx students as well. So it's been a successful legislation, but I still want to shine a light on the fact that we have to be very careful to make sure that we don't leave some students behind in implementing this relatively new approach.
Yeah, that's wonderful. We talked about that a lot in the state senate, and
Yes.
so that is something that is very critical and really helpful for people of color. We only have a couple of more questions. What challenges have you faced, Dr. Richardson, generally, in the Academy of Higher Education as a woman of color?
That's a very good question. As a woman of color, I think you often have to live in the space of knowing that people are going to prejudge you, based on your gender, based on your ethnicity. And so what I have found is that I have to come into the room with a level of compassion, but also a level of confidence that I'm going to do what I have to do in terms of decision making. I'm going to say what I have to say in terms of the communication that needs to be expressed, understanding that sometimes the lens that people receive that might be somewhat biased. That's difficult sometimes because, as you know, that comes with microaggressions, it comes with macroaggressions sometimes. But what I have done is I have focused on the bigger picture, which is my determination to do what I can to help as many students as I can. And so as long as I keep that the focus, most days are pretty phenomenal.
Wow, that's wonderful. What community work have you accomplished for the improvement of protected classes with respect to the current DEI movement, especially because now, you have, is it equality that's important or is it equity that's important? That becomes really political. And I'm not asking you for necessarily from a political statement, but I'm just trying to get your ideas on what are some of the areas that you've accomplished or you've encouraged your support staff, faculty, to help to improve this particular area of DEI?
Well, as you know, DEI is a very controversial word right now
That's
in
right.
education, but this is the stance that I've taken. We are not going to do anything differently here at Berkeley City College. We're going to make sure that every student is going to be educated to the greatest extent possible here at BCC. So the focus is not going to be on groups, it's going to be on us making sure that every student gets what they need. Because the reality is, not all Black students are the same, not all Latinx students are the same. But we as educators, we have to be conscientious in making sure that every student gets what they need. So that's been my focus here at BCC. I believe it's one that most people here have embraced, understanding that doesn't matter what we call it, we're going to take care of our students and make sure they have what they need to get to the next level.
You are truly a professional who collaborates in a graceful manner.
Thank you.
That is a wonderful, wonderful response to that question. Everyone that I interview, I ask that same question. And I mean, you're the first person I feel that has answered it in a very graceful manner. Because I think the way you answered it, Dr. Richardson, what it does is that you recognize the different voices, but the main voice is to simply share unity and love to the students in whatever way that needs to happen. And
That's right.
so, and that involves collaboration. My final question is, if you can share any thoughts or ideas you would like to communicate, or please discuss any of your future goals and projects or innovations you have for Berkeley City College.
One of my goals for Berkeley City College is to establish pathways with other institutions of higher learning, particularly in areas where there is underrepresentation. For example, Black doctors, Latino doctors are not replacing themselves in the numbers that they currently exist. So I would love to create a pathway with a four-year institution and then a medical school where we provide wraparound services for students to get them completely through. So in this case, it would be a 2+4+4 pathway. So I believe, as I said earlier, very strongly in cohorts. And I believe that students, when they have the resources that they need to be successful, they soar. And so I would like to partner with some other institutions who share that vision.
Wow. As the president of Professor for Life Incorporated, and we interview professionals and academics and leaders from all over the world, I want to thank you for taking your precious time to allow me to speak with you. I will always remember the wisdom that I felt sitting next to you at the National Council for Black American Affairs. You always possess such a gracefulness as a professional, and just hearing you talk, it's evident that you have coupled that gracefulness with a lot of knowledge and experience. Thank you for what you do for our students, and thank you for what you've done for the world of academia. Would blessings follow you always? God bless you.
Thank you so much, Professor Henderson. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Do have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you again.